Now on Chronicle.
There's not a certain stereotypical look of hunger.
Fighting food insecurity in our communities.
The way this economy is, you can't afford to put food in your house.
So every little bit helps.
The work underway to increase access.
If you don't have access to these fresh foods, then you're going to have more of these chronic diseases.
To fresh, nutritious food.
And this is how we love our neighbors. We put food on their tables. You know, we meet their needs.
And improve wellness.
You see people with diabetes.
They are struggling to figure out, where am I going to get food? How am I going to pay for medicine?
Striving toward a healthier future for all.
Health is wealth.
One meal at a time.
Carrots!
It allows people to live vibrant, flourishing lives.
Because of the fresh food, I can go. Yeah.
Now on Chronicle. Hungry to help.
Welcome to Chronicle. I'm Jane Robelo. 1 in 7 people in South Carolina faces food insecurity. That's according to 2023 data collected by Feeding America. And here at Second Harvest Food Bank in Williamston, these volunteers are packing food boxes for students in Anderson County. And Second Harvest feeds people across the Carolinas. Food insecurity isn't the same thing as hunger. I spoke with the South Carolina Department of Public Health's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Brandon Traxler, about what food insecurity means.
We look at really, whether people are getting the recommended number of calories, whether they're getting the right proportions. So making sure that their calories aren't all coming from fast food because that's all that they have access to.
So it's not only are you able to eat, it's are you able to eat something nutritious?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because somebody could eat fast food, all day, every day, and get the right number of calories, but it's not going to be the nutritious food.
And not getting nutritious food is a complex problem. You are what you eat, right? Our Stephanie Trotter explores the medical impact to individuals and how we're all paying for it.
Half an hour before opening, a line is already forming and phones ringing at the Greenville Free Medical Clinic.
Buenos dias.
Money and food are tight for every patient here.
Respira normal.
Anna Yanez says balancing a budget that prioritizes healthy food is a very big challenge.
Some of them really honestly don't have enough money to purchase, what we may be able to purchase. So they have to go either fast food, so they go to bargain outlets and get food that are already pre-made.
Pre-made and processed are pummeling the public's health, leading to kidney, heart, and lung disease, as well as obesity, high blood pressure, cancer, and arthritis. In fact, when it comes to chronic health issues, with the exception of obesity, South Carolina ranks in the bottom 15 states for all conditions, and the bottom 10 for heavy hitters like kidney disease, diabetes, and high blood pressure. Anna estimates 3 out of 4 of her patients trace their medical issues to poor access to healthy food, and the number of those in need continues to climb. The clinic works with Loaves and Fishes to provide some fresh produce, but she still hears stories of a family of 4 splitting 3 boiled eggs for breakfast with nothing else.
We can teach whatever we can. We can coach them to have a better lifestyle, but if they cannot afford it, they have to eat what they have to eat. So we go back to the same bottom line.
And the bottom line is growing. Last year, South Carolinians spent an estimated $37 billion to treat chronic medical conditions. They're the primary driver of rising healthcare costs and create hidden expenses in the marketplace as businesses provide insurance coverage while absorbing sick days and lost production. Calculating the exact cost to individual taxpayers is complicated. A study was done 10 years ago. It found that chronic health conditions cost every person in South Carolina almost $12,000 a year. When economists use a medical cost inflation calculator today, that amount has grown to $15,000 a year.
121, the green, right, okay.
The next generation of doctors hopes to save costs and lives by focusing more on preventative efforts than those who trained before them.
We all went through biochemistry where we learned the nuts and bolts of metabolism and how we digest our food, but in terms of prevention and nutrition, it's changed quite a bit.
Patient is in acute distress. USC School of Medicine Greenville is the first in the nation to earn the highest certification for its lifestyle focus that spills across all curriculum.
There's data that shows that, especially with nutrition, that physicians are not comfortable talking to their patients about nutrition. And so from this data, that really began to increase that conversation about how we can integrate nutrition into medical education.
Students here step away from the clinic to the kitchen to learn about food insecurity, even SNAP box contents, and how to walk patients through the social detriments hurting their health. Dr. Jennifer Springhart embraces the opportunity.
We're seeing people outlive their resources, outlive their caregivers, and we're seeing overburdened emergency departments. So we're asking, what can we do to help prevent those problems on the front end? And healthy living and healthy eating is a big part of that.
Long-term meds, surgeries, dialysis.
Go for the green peas.
Dr. Mary Britton Blankenship guides patients down a healthy path to avoid costly treatments.
It seems like preventative care is expensive, and maybe it is, but chronic disease costs a lot of money. And if we're not putting the time, the energy, the money in on the front end, we're paying for it later.
She says small changes, just one a day, can make a big difference.
Immediately, patients may notice they feel better. They might have more energy. They might be thinking more clearly. And those little changes can motivate you to keep going.
Going toward a future with less illness and expensive care.
Another facet of the complex problem of food insecurity is the lack of transportation. Our Sydney Shadrax takes us to an organization that's breaking one of the biggest barriers to getting fresh food to families who need it.
At Greer Relief, getting help putting food on the table starts with a simple sign-in, and then a walk down the hallway to the on-site market.
Canned goods, meat, vegetables, and stuff like that.
Because sometimes when you have to prioritize your expenses, feeding yourself may not always be at the top of the list.
Well, I live out on my own, and I get enough money to pay my bills, enough money for food, but some months having a cat, you can't keep food in your mouth and try to keep food in her mouth too.
Carrie is able to walk to Greer Relief to pick up groceries every few months.
They treat you like family here.
He doesn't have a car, and thankfully, Greer Relief is right around the corner.
We've got to stay close and tight to our community that needs us, because that's their only access, is walking to us.
In fact, according to the South Carolina Department of Public Health, 5% of households don't have access to a vehicle.
Many of those have to turn to convenience stores.
In some communities, a convenience store may be the only store within walking distance.
What role does transportation play when it comes to access to healthy and nutritious foods?
So there's less access to fresh food.
Caroline Robertson says you may be able to find some fresh fruit or vegetables at a convenience or discount store, but the options are still limited.
We work hard to try to get the services to the people, because it's hard to get the people to the services.
That's why Greer Relief launched its mobile food pantry several years ago, using it to take boxes of food to central locations where they've identified pockets of need.
The over 8,000 people we fed last year would not have had the food that they needed for their families.
Serving 8,000 people, one meal at a time.
The way this economy is, you can't afford to put food in your house or keep money in your pocket, so you have to do what you got to do to survive.
That need continues to rise throughout the state. Greer Relief alone reports seeing a 116% increase in just the past 5 years. Housing and food insecurity are directly connected. The Spartanburg Soup Kitchen is feeding a couple of hundred more people now than they were 5 years ago. Volunteers serve a hot lunch 7 days a week, and donors provide the essentials so that they can send their guest home with a little something extra if they don't have access to a kitchen.
It's something that they can take out the can and eat, because if they're on the street, they're not going to be able to cook it. They're not going to be able to warm it up. So we just try to give them something to where they can make a sandwich, or they can, like a fruit cup, or applesauce, something to help them to get through from being hungry.
Monica Floyd says about 20% of the people they serve are homeless, and they partner with groups across the county to help their guests like a place to call home.
We know that there's not a single organization who can address the complexity of this issue alone, so it's really important that if we want to comprehensively and sustainably help people end homelessness, we have to be working together as a community.
The Soup Kitchen has a working relationship with shelters in the area. That way they can alert their guests as to available options each day.
Coming up next on Chronicle.
How are you?
Nutritious meals.
Unless she comes, a lot of days I don't see anybody.
With a side of friendship.
It's a joy. Well, I always look forward to you coming too.
Delivered to homebound seniors.
We know that, your body undergoes a lot of changes as you get older. And that includes things like metabolism and whatnot, so it becomes even more important, frankly, to have access to those healthy and nutritious foods.
South Carolina's chief medical officer notes that food insecurity among seniors in the state is higher than the national average. Peyton Furtado takes us along with a nonprofit that is leading the way in solving this problem in Greenville County.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Everybody here has well over 100 years experience in the kitchen between all of us.
Workers and volunteers make 1,500 meals, 80% going to seniors in our region. They've moved into a new space because the appetite just keeps growing.
The majority of who we serve are seniors that are lower income. And so many of these individuals are seniors that are living off Social Security. After they've paid their rent and utilities, they're possibly having to make some hard choices between meals and medications.
More than 125,000 seniors in South Carolina struggle with food insecurity, according to the Department of Aging.
Well, the food just doesn't show up. There's a whole process, a journey it goes through from the kitchen here at Meals on Wheels. Packed away in a bag just like this one. Next, volunteers get in line and then hit the road.
Volunteers like Sheila.
Hi! Most of my clients, it's a very important meal. They look forward to it. So they love it when it comes hot. Back seat, please. All right, thanks much, kiddo. You never know where your meals are going to fit in and how important they are.
Important to the stomach.
Hi, sunshine. Come in. How are you?
And to the soul.
Good. Unless she comes, a lot of days I don't see anybody.
Benny Johnson is 90 years old.
I still can't cook because I got neuropathy in my hands, and they don't work too well sometimes.
Most days, Benny says she sits in her corner, watching the window.
I look forward to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. She's very important to me.
Especially if you've got the capabilities there, but for the grace of God, go on. Hi, Linda. How are you?
I am good, and you are a sight for sore eyes, aren't you?
Oh, kiddo.
Linda Burgeon enrolled in Meals on Wheels after her hip replacement.
Helpful? Oh, my gosh. Helpful is not the word. I live on the edge pretty much. I used to weigh 173 pounds, and I started losing weight. I got on the scale, and it was 100 pounds, and it terrified me. I said, oh, my God, I'm dying. I'm dying.
These home visits bring the comfort of a nutritious meal, a friendly conversation, and a renewed sense of value.
I gained 30 pounds now. I'm up to 130.
And without nonprofit service like this in Greenville County,
some don't have the financial means to be able to go into a facility. I think our city and county governments would have to figure out a way to feed over 2,500 people annually.
As for Sheila,
it's a joy.
Well, I always look forward to you coming too.
She'll continue to deliver warmth and joy as long as Benny, Linda, and other seniors need it.
And nationally, Meals on Wheels serves 244 million meals each year.
When Chronicle continues.
One of our main goals is to end childhood hunger.
A team effort.
Our food, the nutrition that we provide, is basically their rocket fuel.
From school districts and nonprofits to keep students fed all year long.
Hunger doesn't take a summer break. Poignant words from nutrition leaders in Greenville County schools. For some children, their only reliable meals come Monday through Friday from the school. Our Sydney Shadracks learns what it takes for school districts and community organizations to keep students fed all year round.
It's lunchtime at Reedy Laurel Elementary School.
Our food, the nutrition that we provide, is basically their rocket fuel.
Every day, Greenville County Schools serves 85,000 meals under the guidelines of the National School Lunch Program.
You have to offer meat or a meat alternate, which could be cheese or a nut butter or beans, fruits, vegetables, milk, and whole grains are the 5 things we have to offer.
By following those guidelines, the largest school district in the state receives federal funding for school lunch reimbursement. It's also how the district continues to feed children over the summer.
We take hunger seriously, and we know hunger doesn't take a summer break.
Greenville County Schools operates under the USDA's Seamless Summer Option.
We can feed kids the same meal pattern with the same requirements as we had during the school year.
It allows children under the age of 18 to receive free meals at certain sites across the district without needing an ID or a student number.
Oh, it's critically important, because it's a driver of their health and how they feel. And that gives them the energy to be healthy and to learn and be productive members of society.
Even a couple of days without nourishing food can have an impact on a child's ability to learn.
We see so many kids go into Monday and they're just not where they need to be with the energy sometimes if they don't get good food sources throughout the weekend.
In Anderson County, Second Harvest of Metrolina and United Way of Anderson County partner for the Weekend Snack Pack program.
This program assists them in receiving a nutritious meal that will help them through the weekend.
Why is that so important?
It takes a child who has gone through the weekend 1 to 2 days to basically catch up and be ready for learning.
Volunteers pack bags of food.
It's well-rounded. There's an entree option, there is a juice option, milk and cereal, and then a couple snack options as well.
That are then sent to schools across Anderson County.
The bags are being placed discreetly in their backpacks, and then they find that when they get home, they know it's there.
So whether it's over the weekend or over the entire summer.
One of our main goals is to end childhood hunger.
Every day, we're getting a step closer to achieving that goal.
And this weekend snack pack program helps feed more than 800 students in the 5 Anderson County school districts each school year. Dr. Brandon Traxler says it is vital to start children on a healthy track way before they even get to elementary school. She's excited by new and different ways that the South Carolina Department of Public Health can help people access healthy food, starting from a young age. DPH provides vouchers to farmers markets for people using WIC, the special supplemental food program for women, infants, and children.
We know that childhood obesity is one of probably the biggest problems that we face public health-wise in our country and in our state. And we've got to really start tackling it there and preventing it there, because unfortunately many of the obese children become obese adults and they then develop the worst chronic medical conditions and so forth. So by preventing that childhood obesity, by teaching nutrition, by encouraging physical activity, we can really change the whole trajectory, of the health of that person for their lifespan.
Dr. Traxler says there are even programs in many child care centers teaching preschoolers about healthy eating, inspiring them to help their families cook nutritious recipes at home.
Ahead on Chronicle.
Because of the fresh food, I can go.
Feeding the soul and the body.
Carrots!
Food is medicine.
And this is how we love our neighbors. We put food on their tables. We meet their needs.
Church groups like these folks from Holy Trinity Lutheran Church in Anderson packing boxes here at Second Harvest have been one of the leaders in addressing food insecurity. Now we introduce you to one faith-based initiative that started in 2013 with big dreams and hands in the dirt.
So what we're trying to do is make fresh,
I'm putting in celery,
clean food as accessible and as affordable as possible.
carrots.
I mean, food is medicine, and it reduces healthcare costs.
Strawberries.
You know, Jesus says, love your neighbors.
I have a lovely red onion right here.
It allows people to live vibrant, flourishing lives.
We're putting tangerines in.
And this is how we love our neighbors. We put food on their tables. You know, we meet their needs.
Cabbage.
Just because you can put something in your mouth, chew it, and swallow it does not mean that it's good for you.
The seed for that mission was planted 13 years ago. Cultivated in 2 church pulpits.
And people, it is about taking charge of our health.
And watered in a plot of land on Sullivan Street.
Lone Branch Baptist Church, Grace Church came together. We designed a garden right here on our campus.
And that's where neighbor and social entrepreneur Dan Weidenbenner sprouted the roots of his Mill Village Ministries.
Fresh and healthy produce isn't easily accessible. But now, through Mill Village Farms and our Food Share program, we're making healthy food, frankly, the easier choice for all in Greenville County.
And it has been a project that the community, Greenville, has come together to support.
I mean, literally the seed planted in the ground when we started our small community garden on Sullivan Street.
In 2013, that fresh produce from the garden was grown to supplement the church's food pantry.
Good morning, dear. How you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. Bless your heart. Thank you so much.
All right, all right.
These people are good to me. It's a blessing that they get out here and work so hard to help people out, you know.
Hey, sweetheart.
It's a blessing.
Which is still a critical resource in this community.
Sometimes people don't have enough money to do what they need to do, and we don't have a lot of grocery stores around here neither. So every little bit helps.
We'll be giving out turnips, bell peppers.
So as healthy eating is preached from the pulpit,
Got one, y'all.
it's administered in the parking lot.
Our pastor always saying, we saving souls, solving problems.
I'm not just concerned about your spiritual life. I'm concerned about your life, your whole life, you as a person.
He used to always share, how many funerals he was doing that, could have maybe been prevented.
It really clicked and said, maybe some of these foods did lead to some of the demise that people had gone through.
Pastor Sean Dogan now also serves as the board chair for Mill Village Ministries.
This is where we get to pack incredible produce boxes,
which has blossomed.
We get to repair bikes with youth.
Into 4 social enterprises.
We know so many of our neighbors depend on a bike as their main mode of transportation. This gets them to work, gets them to health care.
With one central hub in West Greenville, including a garden.
We have now 25 plus raised beds where we can do educational garden workshops, youth helping grow fresh food.
And resources to serve the entire county.
It means not only accessibility and availability, but it means that now a person is armed to have the right things to feed their bodies in the right way.
Because of the fresh food, I can go. Yes.
And the rewards of eating fresh, colorful fruits and vegetables are seen in a harvest of health.
I am 71 years old. Then the doctor say, you're a healthy 71-year-old. It's because of the fresh vegetables and the love that we get here at Mill Village.
The bottom line is we're trying to feed people.
You can't just put food in isolation.
It was always more than just growing produce in the garden or growing that cabbage in the garden.
Health is wealth.
It was how do we grow lives and change lives.
And just seeing them, face to face, the impact it makes, yeah, I love it.
And that's really what it's all about. And that's what we get to do every day.
And Mill Village Ministries is now able to break through the transportation barrier, delivering fresh food boxes to people who rely on SNAP. And they're hoping to make those available to all of their clients in the near future.
Next on Chronicle.
Will we have enough food to sustain all the people that will come to us?
Lingering effects on food banks from the longest government shutdown in history.
And we never want to turn anybody away.
Plus, the changes to SNAP benefits.
For more than 500,000 South Carolinians, SNAP is essential for putting healthy food on the table. But Maya Payton shows us how that support is looking different.
It's not a bad thing to come to these places. It's a good thing, and it shouldn't be a shame.
At Harvest Hope Food Bank, the people who walk through these doors are called neighbors.
Sometimes I get behind in some mortgage or something like that.
Many of them never imagined that they would be here. But lately, more are.
Gotta do what I gotta do to survive.
In February, new federal SNAP work requirements took effect in South Carolina. The age limit for able-bodied adults without dependents has now increased from 54 to 64. And recipients must work at least 80 hours a month to keep benefits beyond 3 months. There are other changes that narrow the program.
We cannot possibly make up the difference in the loss of SNAP in order to feed our neighbors properly.
Erica Cheek says these changes place tremendous pressure on charitable food systems.
For every meal that the food bank provides, SNAP provides 9. We can't make up those meals. We rely on donations. In fact, about 61% of our inventory is based on donations, meaning food drives, local retail stores that donate to us, local companies that donate to us.
Other changes to SNAP promote healthier food purchases, a goal many support in principle. But in reality, Cheek says, there's a higher price tag attached to healthier options.
A lot of people are working 2 and 3 jobs. It's hard to cook the healthy meals because you're running from job to job, but your kids still need to eat. So that's where you get the processed foods and the quick items, because I'd rather give them something than to not have anything.
And last year's government shutdown delayed paychecks.
I wasn't sure how to make ends meet, but through this pantry and a few other local churches, I was able to get by.
SNAP benefits came to a halt.
It was absolutely necessary to have those kind of resources because otherwise I wouldn't have known where to turn.
But for families, bills continued to roll in.
It was stressful.
And hunger grew louder.
We are a people. Everyone needs to look out for one another, and to turn your back when people are going through a tough time, it shouldn't be. It should not be.
So the government shuts down. That's 43 days of silence. How did that compound what was already happening?
So the silence part, that's the part that kind of people panic. We can't just turn on a switch and miraculously there's 3 warehouses full of food. We have to know ahead of time. That's one of the things that we're trying to talk to our legislators about is we need a seat at the table.
Keep in mind, DSS says more than 520,000 South Carolinians received SNAP in December alone.
We don't receive federal funding. There's no funding in the budget at the State House for food banks. You can't cut a program and then say, let's send you to the food bank.
You may never stand in this pantry line, but your neighbor might. For some, the food assistance is occasional.
I like filling those gaps from time to time. I'm a veteran, but still in all, things are still tight.
For others, it's a must.
Be ashamed. Everybody has downtimes.
You have to put that pride aside. We are here to help.
Don't be prideful. Swallow it fast. because it's not just this place. There's lots of places out there that help people.
In response to the 2025 government shutdown, Governor Henry McMaster activated the One SC Fund to give more than $400,000 to the state's regional food banks.
Still to come on Chronicle. Hurricane Helene's impacts to the food supply in western North Carolina.
That took a lot of bite out of the food chain for this area.
Plus, the work to get fresh meals to families in rural food deserts.
It has been almost 18 months since Hurricane Helene majorly interrupted the food supply and the supply chain. The storm severely damaged the only Ingalls market in Swannanoa, forcing it to close down. But plans are in place to build a new one. Feet of water and mud devastated the life's work of so many farmers in western North Carolina. And while the floodwaters are now gone, Aaron Baker explains the impact on food supply is far from over.
This particular place where we're standing at right now had approximately 7 feet of water under it.
From his home on the hill across the street, Jeff Nix watched 10% of his apple farm disappear beneath rising floodwaters. At the height of the harvest, thousands of apples gone in hours.
We lost somewhere in the neighborhood of 4,500 bushel of fruit each year, year in and year out.
A single storm impacting years' worth of the food supply across the Carolinas.
We had over 20 inches of rain in about 16 hours.
In Henderson County, apples dominate the economy and the food supply across the region. Nix is a third-generation apple farmer and is no stranger to hail, cold temperatures, and other ways nature can impact a picking season.
And we had all of the bad hailstorms last year that hit in the area. That took a lot of bite out of the food chain for this area.
But Helene introduced a new wrinkle, decimating agriculture and interrupting the food supply.
You can see these are fully formed trees, but compare this to over here where Helene floodwaters from the river flooded this area and destroyed the trees. Now these have since been replanted, but they're small, and as you can see, it'll take years for these trees to produce a crop for people in need.
According to North Carolina's 2024 Hurricane Helene Damage and Needs Assessment, direct production losses totaled $48 million, with the overall economic impact reaching $89 million. For Jeff Nix, that means patience.
And you don't get nothing back for 3 years, 4 years, sometimes even 5 years. You're working it, and you ain't in production yet.
And leaning on faith.
We're just blessed with whatever we can get. It helps us as farmers keep struggling on through it a little longer.
1 year and 7 months later, Flavorful Farms is getting back to some level of normalcy.
It takes time, and that's what we're willing to put in it. We should be harvesting fruit back here, quite a bit of fruit in 2028 or 2029.
He's pushing forward.
Got to stay positive to be a farmer.
With meaningful partnerships like North Carolina's Farm to School program.
That's one of my biggest goals right now, is supplying kids more fruit.
And the Nix family's generational commitment to not just growing apples, but to growing a healthy food supply.
People who live in rural areas often have to travel a long way just to access food. And if the nearest grocery store is more than 10 miles away, that's considered a food desert. Our Nate Stanley brings us deep into the mountains of western North Carolina, where one food pantry has become a lifeline.
Before the sun comes up, the boxes go down, and MANA food bank drivers load up their trucks, sending more than 80,000 pounds of food across the region.
We have a network of over 300 food pantry partners across 16 counties here in western North Carolina.
But that network must continue to grow to keep pace with rising food insecurity.
The hope was that kind of surge of capacity need to meet the food insecurity in the region would slowly, those numbers would trickle down. They've only continued to ramp up.
The truck packed with nourishing meals will drive through the scenic Blue Ridge Mountains all the way to Graham County.
A place that at one time
had 5 main grocery stores besides all the little country stores that were out in the different parts of the communities, has dwindled down to 1 grocery store source in the whole community.
And after that 100-mile journey, the food ends up here where it is stocked, organized, and ready for the community.
We are helping our neighbors and our friends and our family, and it's important to us that we never lose sight of the fact that it is about real live people who deserve fair treatment.
And now that treatment is provided through the 5 Point Center, with decades of experience feeding the community.
So we did distributions off the back of a tractor trailer. And from there, we took on the food pantry. We also took on doing the TFAP program, which is the Emergency Food Assistance Program that's through the USDA, and also the Commodity Supplemental Food Program, which is for people over 60.
They launched the pantry when the only other one in the area closed down. Executive Director Michelle Shiplet says most of the people they serve can't afford to shop at the local grocery store.
The prices are much higher, generally running anywhere from 30 to 40% higher on some items than the stores in Murphy.
That store in Murphy, about a 30-minute drive away.
Well, probably one of the biggest barriers is transportation. I mean, we don't have a 4-lane highway that comes right down through the area. And of course, right now, we're also under construction on the main artery that comes in and out of the community.
The folks at 5 Point Center will keep cooking and giving this food to those who need it the most.
It makes all the difference in the world. Sometimes I think that it probably literally makes a difference between life and death for some, because we work with a diverse population. We have people that are houseless, we have people that are unemployed, we have people that are infirmed, we have elderly.
One thing you had mentioned was people over programs. What does that motto mean, and why is it something that you feel so called to?
This is our community. These are our people. They're our family. For some of them, it is all the food that they get. It's not just supplemental. It is their diet. It is their nutrition. It is their lifeline.
And along with food services, the center provides other critical resources for seniors, the homeless, and those struggling with addiction.
Ahead on Chronicle.
Every little bit helps.
Donations of food, money, and time.
We can stretch a dollar a little bit further because of the relationships that we've got.
How you can help in the fight to end food insecurity.
Food banks survive through the generosity of others. Donations of food, money, and even your time keep thousands of people from going hungry every single day. But how? Our Nigel Robertson and photojournalist James Wager set out on a dual mission to show you just how far your dollar can go.
So here's the question. If I take $100 and head to the grocery store, but my photographer James takes his 100,
but I donate mine to Harvest Hope as a financial donation,
what will the final result be?
Let's find out.
Harvest Hope has one goal.
We feed people.
Each buggy is loaded with fresh, packaged, nutritious food.
We document, we track, we record, we know where the food goes. We know how many people we feed.
This time last year, Harvest Hope fed an estimated 80,000 people.
Fast forward to this year, we were knocking on the door of 160,000, so we nearly doubled.
Those who can't give,
they really are the heart of Harvest Hope,
can volunteer.
You'll see it's our volunteers that are out there with our neighbors, making sure that they are getting the food that we're able to source for them into their vehicles and back to their homes to feed their families.
Back at the grocery store, I fill my cart, becoming one of the countless people who donate.
Thank you. Keep doing it. If that's how you demonstrate your generosity, awesome.
Food donations are huge. Things like rice, mac and cheese, pasta, peanut butter, dried beans, cereal, canned vegetables, ramen noodles, and other shelf-stable items are always needed.
We couldn't keep food on the shelves. I mean, as fast as it was coming in here, it was going right back out.
Meanwhile, back at Harvest Hope, James gives his donation. Cash donations allow Harvest Hope to expand operations to meet the demand for food assistance, especially in rural communities and food deserts where grocery stores don't operate.
We've got to do more. We've got to figure out ways to do more.
Harvest Hope says through financial donations, it can provide a healthy meal to someone with as little as 25 cents.
It's through relationships.
But how?
Relationships with our corporate partners. We've got great retail partners, our grocery stores that donate food to us every week that we actually go and pick up.
Basically, a community helping make every penny go even further. So in the end, let's not just tell you, but show you what the difference is in a food donation versus a financial donation. Here is what $100 in groceries can buy
versus what organizations like Harvest Hope can do with your donation of $100.
It takes a village.
Bags and bags and bags, each filled with enough food to feed a family, fighting hunger, one donation at a time.
That financial donation helps nonprofits like Harvest Hope and Second Harvest pay their bills, keeping the meats frozen and fresh vegetables chilled. That's all part of their bottom line. We hope that your eyes are open to what hunger actually looks like in our community and that you're inspired to get involved, whether that's by donating food or money or by volunteering. We want to connect you with the many resources available, and you can find those at WYFF4.com. We thank you for joining us for Chronicle, Hungry to Help. I'm Jane Robelo. Good night.
Our Day for Giving continues tonight. Second Harvest Food Bank feeds families in Spartanburg, Anderson, Pickens, Oconee, Abbeville, Greenwood, Cherokee, Union, York, and Lancaster counties in South Carolina, as well as 14 counties in North Carolina. If you'd like to donate to Second Harvest, visit WYFF4.com. Or you can mail a check to Second Harvest's Anderson branch, P.O. Box 41, Williamston, South Carolina 29697. Or Spartanburg branch, 1503 Old Converse Road, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29307. Every dollar helps keep our neighbors' tables full of healthy meals.